Hey music students, this is Mr. Clegg. I should say hey musicians, because you all are. And the we're going to learn now about how to make triads, which is a type of chord, right? So um, something I forgot to mention in the last video is that a semitone and a half step are the same thing. I'll just pause and write those words on the screen real quick. Okay, so as I said, a half step and a semitone are the same thing. That's when you go from one note on the piano to the very next note. Whether it's white or black, they have to be adjacent notes. So from E to F, or from F to F sharp, that's a half step, or a semitone. They're the same. It's a different word for the same thing. But in this video, we're going to be learning about chords and triads, actually. So a chord is any collection of notes that are played at the same time, right? At the same time. And a triad is a chord with 3 notes. So we're going to be learning about triads today in this video. So, whoops. Keep hitting my thing there. So the simplest triad that I actually taught you, I believe, in video 1 is a C chord, and that goes C, E, G. So here's your C, your E, and your G. And the cool thing about this, so here's, it's your 1, your 3, and your 5. And again, okay, again, I switched screens over here really quick, so you got some of my writing that doesn't match. But there's your C, E, and your G. You're using your 1, your 3, and your 5 fingers, your thumb, middle finger, and pinky. If you do this with your left hand, it's just the same exact thing, except the thumb and the pinky are switched because you're using your left hand. So then it would be pinky, middle finger, thumb. I want you to start with your right hand, though, just so we can all speak the same language here. All right, so that's your 1, 3, and 5. Back to here, and so if you play that, it sounds like this. There we go, and so that's a triad, right? Also in that first video, we learned how to play an F triad, F, A, and C, and you play them all at once. Sounds like that. And we also did a G triad, G, B, and D. Sounds like that. Okay. So in order to build these triads, though, you might notice that those all kind of have a nice similar sound. Those are all major triads, right? Whoops, played that wrong. There we go. But some of these other ones, like if you were to make a triad here, that has a different sound. It has sort of a sad sound, doesn't it? And that one does too. And then this one has kind of a sad sound too. And then this one has an even different weird sound. So not all of the, triads you can make are that major sound. So I'm going to teach you how we do that. So basically, I'm going to teach you about major triads right now, and then I'm going to teach you about minor ones. Quick little screen change, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just took a little break to write something on the screen here. So for a major triad, we're going to start with our first note here, C in this case. We're going to go up 4 semitones, and then we're going to go up 3 semitones. So that looks like this. So if we're going to go up 4 semitones, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Skipping 3 in the middle, and we land on the 4th, just like moving in a board game. So then from that one, we're going to go up 3 more to our final note, our 5 notes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we go 1, jump 4, and then we're going to jump 3. And that's how we know what our 3 are. Now, if we were to do that same thing, but starting on a D note, we're not going to land there. If we go up 4 notes, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have that sharp in there. So it's going to be that one, and then we're going to go. So a D chord, a D major chord would be D, F sharp, A. So that one's going to have a sharp in it to have that nice major sound. And if we started on an F, I know that there's some writing on the screen here that's annoying. Maybe I'll just erase that really quick. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so if we start on an F and we go up 4, there we go. So then I have an F, A, we go up 3 more to C, F, A, C. That's a major chord. If I do the same thing with a G, so G, B, that's a major chord as well. Whoops, I didn't play it right. Oh boy. There we go. Sorry, there we go. A little bit tiny keyboard here for me to use. I'm using my fingertips here. There we go. So there's my G chord. But if I were to play some other chords, you know, let's say I started on an E. So there, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And then I could have my 1, 2, 3. So there's my, right? So there's my E major chord. E, G sharp, and B. Whoops. Hard to get my fingers in there. E, G sharp, and B. Okay, that is how that works. So anyway, those are major ones. But now the question you might be asking is, what about those sad sounding ones, and what's the difference there? Remember how I played this one? That has a sad sound. Well, that is because a minor chord, a minor triad, I should say, same thing, basically, is that it reverses these. So basically you just go up 3 for the first one and up 4 for the second one. Quick little pause while I write. Okay, so for example, if we were going to start on a D and make a minor chord, we'd start on a D, we'd go up 3. So there we have D, F, and then we go up 4 to an A. So it'd be D, F, A. That's our minor chord. Now we could turn that into a major by just changing the middle note up to an F sharp. So then we'd have D, 1, 2, 3, 4, F sharp, A. D, F sharp, A. That's a D major chord. But a minor is just the one D, F, A. And you see how that sounds a lot more sad. Here's a happier sound for the major chord and a sadder sound for the minor chord. The same thing with a, let's try the same thing with a C major chord. We know that C major, we already know this, C, E, and G. But what if we just lower that third by a half step, or by a semitone? So now we have C, 1, 2, 3, E flat, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and G. So we have C, E flat, G. So yeah, there we have our C minor chord. So it sounds pretty sad because we made that third move down a half step. And go back to a C major chord and compare how bright and happy that sounds compared to that. Now, so you might notice that if you want to turn a major into a minor, all you have to do is move the third note down by a half step. Right? So you could take your major, turn it into a minor by just lowering that third, right, to an E flat. If you wanted to turn a minor into a major, you just raise the third note by a half step. So there's your minor chord, raise it. Now you've got a major chord. Remember how we did it with D? There's our D minor. If you want to make it major, just raise that third up a half step and you have a major chord. So those are our major and minor triads. Okay, hopefully that made sense, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.